أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعلني وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري واشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا رب إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصلي عليه الحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone. Inshallah, we are reading from the Rays, the Shining Proof, the second station. I hope everyone is doing well, inshallah. So the second station of the Shining Proof. And we are in the page 618. That's the same page on the book. My book is at least as well. And this is basically the continuation of the human journey as we've been reading in the Supreme Sign, and how the author walked us through the different stages of the human being curious in terms of what his existence means, why is he here in this world, and along his journey he experiences different situations and must wonder what this world is, what he is doing here, what his purpose and life is supposed to be. And that was, in detail, we went through the different areas and sections of how that journey went through, where the objective of the human being was to find out about his Lord, about why he's here, get some answers, and get to know his source of existence much in a good way, much better, and improve upon his understanding and fulfilling the purpose of his existence, which we all can relate to. If you just give me a second, let me just turn off something. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. So continuing on that journey, we discussed about how to get to know the creator in terms of the different qualities, the names that we encounter while we are going through our life journey here. Everything that we experience tells us some meaning, gives us some ideas, and we go through different experiences, emotions. We like some things, we don't like something. We see the changes continuously going on. And now the author was making the point in terms of how we can get to know that the one who is presenting this universe is an absolutely knowledgeable one. He knows that's why the existence is here. And so these evidences and proofs are basically building upon the tashahhud that when we acknowledge as a conclusion, and we discussed that in the previous sessions as well. So here we're going to start now with the 7th and 8th evidences and the specified appointed hour of death and fixed regular sustenance. Superficially, the appointed hour and sustenance appear to be unknown and unspecified. The appointed hour and sustenance appear to be unknown and unspecified superficially, but for an important instance of wisdom under the veil of vagueness, the appointed hour is determined. but for an important instance of wisdom under the veil of vagueness, which is that superficiality. The appointed hour is determined and specified on the page of every living being's destiny in the notebook of pre-eternal divine decree and determining. That's true. We do hear that. We don't know when something, our death happens. It comes as a surprise. Nobody knows about it. So that's a superficial way that we kind of hear. And sometimes we understand it that way, but the author is pointing out about the reality of death is, or the appointed hour is determined, just like everything else in life. Every moment is determined and specified on the page of every living being's destiny in the notebook of pre-eternal divine decree and determining. So of course, this points again to the absolute knowledge. So whatever any moment of my life, moment of existence, experience, everything, although we may say that this is, oh, I stumbled upon this, or this something happened to me and something touched me, we may not realize that everything is determined and specified, that it is purposefully given and arranged and set up by the one who owns this whole arrangement and this universe. So it can be neither brought forward nor delayed. Yep. So you can't, I mean, there are movements to extend one's life right now, but but everything is determined according to what has been specified. Only the one who runs the whole universe, who creates each and every moment, knows exactly. I must know, at least that's how I would understand it, because he's the one who is giving, from my vision and my observation, existence at every moment. So there are numerous evidences that the sustenance of every living being is also appointed and determined and inscribed on the tablets of decree and determining. The sustenance of every living being is also appointed and determined and inscribed on the tablets of decree and determining. For example, a huge tree leaving behind when it dies its seed. So a huge tree leaving behind when it dies its seed, which is its spirit of a sort, to continue its duties in its place, and this occurring through the wise law of an all-knowing preserver. This occurring through the wise law of an all-knowing preserver. And milk, the sustenance of infants and young, flowing forth from breasts, and its appearing from between blood and excrement, and pouring into their mouths pure and clean, without being polluted. Pouring into the mouths pure and clean, without being polluted. Reject decisively the possibility of chance and shows clearly that they occur through the compassionate law of an all-knowing and compassionate provider. You can make an analogy with these two small examples for all living creatures and beings with spirits. So a very powerful reminder in this paragraph about all the events that we go through, whatever is happening in your life, my life, everybody's individual. Everyone has their own notebook. Every being, every creature has their own notebook. And whatever we experience is coming from the one who knows. So I would pause here, and if anybody would like to comment or highlight anything, or you can please go ahead. I would love to hear some comments. Yeah. All right, I'll continue, and then you can jump in anytime. Brother Ali, go ahead. Brother Ali, your hand was up, but your mic is muted. Should I unmute you?
I didn't know that my hand doesn't speak. So I'm sorry. I'm looking back. Where are we coming from? Yeah, this is the second station. We are reading the second station. Come back, go back. Then the shining proof, second station, about what? Somebody, God is the light of the heavens and the earth. The parable of his light is as if there were whatever. This is very important. Now, first of all, we, as far as I remember, we didn't spend enough time, worth, which is worth, to understand the verse at the very beginning and why the second station after, as a supplement to the seventh rays, the supreme sign, the journey of a curious man investigating about who is the creator of this universe, therefore, who is my creator. He traveled all through, and then through the evidence, and then conclude that, I don't know whether you remember or not, Shahid Allahu ennahu la ilaha illahu. I am looking for the creator of the universe, but I am asking the universe who your creator is, and without realizing that I am asking the universe to tell me who its creator is. At the end of the journey, he reached to the conclusion that, it is not the universe is witnessing about its creator, but the creator of the universe itself is witnessing about his being, existence. Shahid Allahu ennahu la ilaha illahu, God himself is the witness or witnesses that there is no creator but him. He himself is speaking through the universe. Now, that is the conclusion. The person who is investigating the universe, who its creator is, realizes this point and says, okay, this is the last point, because I cannot ask anybody else other than the one who speaks and demonstrates himself to me, who is the creator of the universe himself. Who else I can ask? That is the last point. If you remember this, that was the very end of the first let me say, what was it? Okay, supreme sign 7th, yeah, first chapter. And it's still long before. Let me see this inside second chapter. The first chapter, the verse is narrated here is God bears witness that there is no God but He. Did we get this? So this is on page 170. The verse is Ali Imran, the third section of the Quran, verse 18. The very end of the 7th, the supreme sign, first chapter. God bears witness. That's very important. This verse is extremely important to understand. Now, what we are reading now is Shining Proof, second station. What does it mean?
Yeah, before you go there, so when you say God bears witness, you understand it as the universe is speaking?
No, not the universe is speaking. God is speaking.
I mean, yeah, through the universe. Sorry, I made a mistake. Yeah.
So
God
that's
is speaking, but through the manifestation and signs of the universe.
So, because I mean, this is a great subject and very deep subject, and if one is not careful, it may be confusing coming to the conclusion that the universe itself, itself is God. No, we have to be very careful. When universe speaks, the first for us at the first stage, we understand that universe is witnessing to its creator. But as we go through the journey, we understand that God is the one who is the creator of the universe. Therefore, it is not the universe itself is witnessing God, but the creator of the universe himself is witnessing God, God's existence. This understanding, this transfer of understanding needed 19 degrees of realization. It means 19 stations of reflections at different levels. I understand, God is witnessing himself, but I see it as the universe is witnessing himself because I am a created being. That is the realization. Now, it is interesting that on page 604, the second station, the beginning of station, is nothing but the continuation of this conclusion. What is that? Page 604. Yeah, here it is. Read the verse. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. Heaven and the earth, no, don't go further. It is very complicated verse. It needs hours and maybe days of discussion. Now, that's enough. Thank you. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. Not the heaven and earth is emitting life as witness to its creator. No, it is God is the light that we see himself. Do you see what I mean? Witnessing himself. God is the light of the heavens and the earth. From there, I mean, I don't know whether we should spend that much long time.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? How do you understand this? That God is witnessing himself.
God is witnessing himself, but we see it first as if the heaven and the earth is witnessing God. But the heavens and the earth, if you liken light to meaning, which is, for example, go back to the example of the book. It is a it is understandable, but it is a delicate subject. We have to be very careful while we are reflecting on this reality. It needs a real attention, really serious attention. Now, the book. When we say this is the book, the sentences on the written form of the book witnesses the knowledge of its creator, its author, as far as the example of the book is concerned. Now the sentences is witnessing, and we read and we do question and go through various stages of reflections. At the end we understand, the author of the book himself is demonstrating his knowledge. Not the book is demonstrating his knowledge. Now, does this analogy help a little bit?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So the heaven and the earth is emitting light? No, no, no. God is the light coming from the earth to me, but it is not the heaven and the earth is emitting light. God is introducing himself to me directly as a created being through a created being, but I don't separate. The heaven is emitting light or shedding light, not shedding light, come on, how do you say? Producing light, but the creator of the universe himself is the one who really demonstrates himself to me there. There is no creator of the heavens and earth, and independently existing heaven and earth. What? In the existence of the book, what makes the book? I see the authors demonstrating his knowledge. In the existence of the heaven and the earth, let's say the universe, I see the creator is demonstrating himself, nothing else, not independent being. But we have to be very careful not to go too far and claim that heaven and the earth, the universe, is God. No, no, God is absolute being. We understood that. But whatever the universe is demonstrating is not the act of the universe. It is the act of God himself. Did we get it? But we should never forget, this is, the universe is a created being. We should never neglect this point. But not acting independently. Did you get it? Does it make sense? Anybody here? Or confusing? Confusing.
I'm okay so far. Anybody else?
It may be confusing, but the verse says God is the light of the heavens and the earth means, what does it mean? Whatever the information I get from the knowledge, whatever the info from the written form, is nothing but the author's presenting his knowledge to me. Book is not independently presenting the knowledge to me, but the author. Book is not functioning. It is passive, not active. Do we understand this?
Yep. So everything is a means. The book is the means. The universe is a means.
But they are not. As if the mirror, Farah, it is a sensitive point. That is why I have to give more example. Mirror. And please be patient. Don't lower your hand. Yes, just keep that to remind me that you are waiting for to speak. Now, when we look at the mirror, is it the mirror really introducing the real object, or the real objective introducing himself through mirror? Which one? Mirror is not active, mirror is passive. It's not staying there. Nothing. But who is active there? The real reflection, the real object which reflects itself. Now, Farah, I think will make comment or further explanation, question, then it will help us to go through this passage.
Assalamu alaikum. I think that you make the point clear, in the sense that even though the language, at least in this sense, is God is the light of the heavens of the earth, we know that nothing that is existent, nothing that exists in our experience in the creation has its own independent creation. So therefore, saying God is the light of the heavens of the earth means that it is given existence, that it is sustained. So I felt the point was clear and important, and understanding the language as is meaning that its existence is given is helped me understand better.
Beautiful, thank you. Now, while I'm listening to you, another example came to my mind. For example, I am giving sadaqah to charity to somebody. Now, first, I understand that God gave me, be careful here again, God gave me property, and out of this property, I am donating or giving to charity. At first, but later on, I realize that even the sense of giving to charity doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my Creator. So, the property belongs to my Creator. The sense of giving to charity belongs to my Creator. Therefore, who is giving to the poor? Me or God? God is giving to more. Am I God? No. No. Because I am a mirror, God is reflecting His compassion to the poor. So the poor man will receive it and will say what? God provided me provision. Not Ali provided me provision. That is what is expected of the poor guy to understand. In my action, the more of my action is God. It means the charity, the meaning or the value of giving charity is or belongs to God. Clear? Inshallah. So I have to say, I didn't give to poor. God gave something, let's say provision to the poor. I should claim no ownership of whatever. After realizing or becoming aware of my situation and become aware of who God is, first of all, I say, I am obeying Allah's order. Allah gave me the property. So this is farce to give zakat to the poor. I am obeying the order of God, demand of God, and giving zakat. That is the first stage, and it is a necessary wrong stage, I'm saying necessary, wrong, mistaken stage we have to go through. And then as we realize who the creator of me, who the creator of the property, who the creator of the universe is, and then I say, in fact, God is giving to the poor, not me. I should own nothing. I should give everything to God, because the sense also, the power of giving also is given to me by God. It means God's action. These are all God's action. The Quran says, interesting phrases are used in the Quran. God is the creator of you as well as what you do. Allah khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun. As well as what you do. So when you throw, it is not you who threw it, it is God, me, says, who threw it. إذ رميت وما رميت إذ رميت ولكن الله رمى. When you do something, it is not that you do it, but God is the doing, is the one who does, who is doing. So from all these verses, we understand that these are the stages of realization or knowledge of God, recognition of God, stages of. First, we have to say, I am obeying the law of God. The last stage of my journey will be, God is functioning, not me. I shouldn't own anything. I'm a created being. My action is also a created being. I think the case is clear. Now, we are still studying the God is the light of the heaven and the earth. Still, because we came to, let's see, yeah. We came to third evidence, the fourth evidence. Let me see. I see. We are actually, we are actually studying the good words. It means at-tayyibatu lillah. Now the fourth sacred word, at-tayyibatu lillah, and these are the evidence, the first of 15 evidence, second evidence, etc. We are coming to the seventh and eighth evidence. So let's revise shortly. At-tayyibatu lillah, good words are God, belong to God. Now, at-tayyibat, we said universal worship. Do you remember this? I think you do. Even I remember, definitely you remember. The universal worship. What is the universal worship? Especially a conscious being, a human being, declares God's presence everywhere by using the evidence manifested in the whole universe. That is why it is called universal worship. This is good words. So universal worship concluded or brought us to the level of realization that good words are all God's. It means everything is in the universe worships God. It means declares his glory, not independently of God. God is speaking through it. God is speaking through it. Because I am a created being, I cannot really be at the same level of existence as the Creator is. So what I do, I am a created being. This is the highest level I realize when I look at the universe. I see nothing but God is acting there. God is speaking there to me. And all my capacities also are created by God, definitely. I cannot own it. So God is introducing himself to my consciousness. I am only given the free will to accept it or to deny it. That's it. When I accept it, this is called belief or submission. The second stage of belief is submission, submitting my existence to him. I would say, no, you know, I am a good submitter. It means a Muslim. I am a good submitter. I am a good Muslim. No, God is Muslim. As we say, Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam. Oh God, you are the peace and peace is from you. Oh God, you are mu'min. Mu'min means what? The believer, and the belief is from you. Both meaning. Both meaning. So when we understood the word Hamid, God is the praising one, and at the same time, who is the praised? Something like that. This kind of, how do you say, the active participle? Is it correct? Fa'il. I think it is. I mean, if Farah might know it, may know it. Did they teach you Arabic in English terms as well? Active participle, passive participle. So I may see myself. Yes, Farah?
Yes, I think that you're right. I don't know the term in English, but it's just the noun.
Ism fa'il in Arabic.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this ism fa'il is so strange. It has two meanings at the same time. Ism fa'il and ism maf'ul. So it is active participle, passive participle. This kind of mu'min, like salam, like hamid, like this rahim, all these kind of active participles in Arabic has double meaning. So we understand that the light is coming from the heaven, but at the same time, light is God's light. Nothing, not from the heaven and the earth. Now, universal worship is like this. I also think that universal worship, good words, which means a conscious human being is aware that every glorification made through the creation of the beings on earth, including my glorification, including my body's glorification, including the glorification of my consciousness, is from God's glorification. God is glorifying himself. That's what this word is. This verse is, this verse means. Where are you going to? Good words? Yes. At-tayyibatu lillah. Good words all are God's. Now, the author came to the point that now, as an explanation of Allahu nur samawati wal ard. God is the light of the earth, the heavens and the earth. Now, here on the 7th and 8th evidence, we should understand that everything is determined by God. For example, the obvious example, my provision is determined by God. Now, yeah, my provision is determined by God. My appointed time, death moment is determined by God. It means everything is determined by God. Nothing really, for example, neither, in the example used here, neither mother is feeding the baby, neither milk is feeding the baby? Who is determined? This is divine determinant, qadr, qadrullah. It is important to understand who is feeding the baby. Somebody?
God is feeding the baby
But mother is feeding the baby.
through the mother.
Who is the feeding the baby?
Mother is the mirror.
Yeah. Mother is just an, if you like, dead mirror on the matter. It doesn't have any quality of itself. What all the qualities manifested in the mirror belongs to the object manifested in it. That's what we have to understand. Divine determining means, it is difficult to understand when we, have a discussion on divine determining in a short period of time, but at the same time not difficult to understand, because when we understand that whatever happens in the universe, according to what? How it is given existence by the Creator continuously. That is why to understand the continuous creation, not static creation, but dynamic acts of creation, God's presence everywhere, every moment, at every moment, and as far as human life is concerned, forever. Nothing is happening in the universe, but God's will is happening, operating in the universe. That is the core, the center of understanding of qadr, divine determining. So, although I seem to be choosing, etc., but everything is happening within the order of the universe, which is nothing but the manifestation of the will of Creator. That's why some seemingly problematic verses in the Quran, such as you cannot, unless God wills, you cannot will anything. It means I am not willing anything, but it seems to be I am. For example, I am speaking now, it seems to be, and I may decide not to speak again. This is, I am free agent. Yes, as far as my sense of free choice is concerned, I am a free agent. But of course, it is given to me the free agents. It means free will is enough in itself, has the quality of making free decision. I am using it. There is no me and free will, but I am the free will, if you like. So in this free will, whatever I decide happens. Whatever I decide happens through God's decision. But because I am using freely my the freedom is given to me, responsibility on me, but decision is on God to have it created or to create it. So we have to understand that first, mother has the choice to feed or not. So the responsibility remains on mother. But at the same time, when mother feeds, mother will say, God is feeding. Why? First of all, the process of producing milk belongs to its creator. The milk, therefore, the result of this process belongs to its creator. The sense of feeding the baby in the body of or in the existence of mother is also also belongs to the creator. So the compassion belongs to creator, milk belongs to creator. The process of producing milk belongs to creator. What is left to the mother? Nothing. What is left to the milk itself, independent as an independent being from its creator? Nothing. This is why divine determining encompasses everything, but through the free choice, mother may not feed the baby. Now, all the negative activities denying the manifestation of God's will is the choice left to a human being, and the responsibility is on it. For example, let's assume that mirror, it's a complicated subject, but not difficult for you to understand. Let's assume that mirror is created as a mirror. Okay. Mirror has the free will. Okay. Mirror has the free will. Now, and the mirror can choose not dirty itself, not to dirt itself. Mirror can choose to dirt itself. No, mirror may choose to dirt itself. Mirror also may choose to not dirt itself. Does it make sense so far?
The mirror has the choice to either dirty itself or not to dirty itself.
Yes, that's it. Dirty itself or not to dirt, not to make dirty itself. When it chooses not to dirt itself, what does it happening? It reflects something, but it is not the mirror. All the reflection, the qualities doesn't belong to mirror. All the qualities reflected in the mirror does not or do not belong to the mirror. All the qualities belong to the real object manifested in it. Correct?
Correct.
So the mirror may not have any claim that, you see, I am beautiful because I am manifesting a beautiful, let's simple example, flower. No. But when mirror chooses to dirty itself, what happens? The quality of the flower, let's say the example, still exists, but mirror doesn't show it. Who is responsible now? Mirror is responsible. He has chosen to dirty itself. Exactly the same way. When mother doesn't feed the baby with the milk provided by her creator, and rejects his sense of compassion and doesn't let the quality of compassion reflect in itself, she is responsible. But when she feeds it, she has no claim over it. That is the mystery we learned in the Quran. Otherwise, if it wasn't because of the teachings of the Quran, we would never ever chose to solve this problem. That's why in philosophy it is very famous, the problem of evil cannot be solvable. That's what they say. Yeah, because they don't listen to the Quran. Quran says, look at the case, that is what you should never forget, that you are a created being. You cannot claim that if someone claims that I exist by myself, I gave existence to myself, then this person can never understand this matter. at all. But the Quran gives us the right to say, like this one, Allahu Nur samawati wal ard, or Shahid Allahu annahu la ilaha illahu. All these verses, or وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, or Allahu khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun. God is the one who created you and what you created. Or in other words, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. When you throw, it is not that you threw, but it is God who threw it. Now, for example, let's work even further, or reflect on the verses even further on. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. What does it mean? And from what we have provided provision for them, they give. Now, what we understand at first stage, God created the provision for me, created, for example, some food out of soil. I didn't do it, God did it. But I got it now, and I am giving provision to the poor. Right? That is the first stage. I say, well, whatever I gave didn't belong to me, it belonged to God. That is God's property. But there is a hidden mistake here. What is that? How about the sense of given? Isn't that God's provision to you? Sense of giving. Isn't that God's provision to you? Sense of compassion is God's provision to you. So when you give the food you gave, and also practice of the sense of compassion also belongs to God, as well as the food itself belongs to God. Is it clear? That's how we should read the Quran. If you want to elaborate on it, that is the foundation of understanding divine determining. That's why subject came at the level of the 7th and 8th evidence to this point. Divine determining everywhere is operating. Okay, I'm stopping now. That's enough.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, beautiful. I think we all have to digest this to understand a little further. I mean, the witnessing, God is witnessing. Allahu Nuru Samawat, the light that is coming from God. And just living by that understanding. And I'm really amazed how you tied it to the divine determining. Alhamdulillah. And I think Sarah put a comment. I don't know if you want to read it yourself, or you can read it if you want. Just based on, I guess, listening to this conversation, this is very sobering for me. There's only the will of the Creator manifesting. Yeah, it allows my entire experience and focus to only be on this relationship between me and my sustainer. Yep, so realize that whatever thing I'm doing, where's that feeling coming from? Who does it belong to? Whose property is it? The thing I'm interacting with, whose property is that? Where is it coming from? Who gives it existence? And yeah, the male example is an amazing example that Brother Lee shared, and the way the author shared also. Sustenance of infants and young, flowing forth from breast, appearing between blood and excrement, and pouring into the mouth pure and clean without polluted. Who is arranging that? Who is organizing it? Who puts the and the movement of the suckling between the infant and the mother. It's just incredible how by realizing each and everything, you can realize that the only thing that we can talk about is our choice to have a clean mirror so that everything reflects and goes back to the one who is the owner of the universe, who is determining everything. So we can realize that, yes, it is my sustainer, my Lord, who is doing it. Alhamdulillah. Anybody else who would like to say anything, share anything? All right, so we think we will digest this, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.